Polycystic ovary syndrome. For decades, that was the name, a condition 1 in 8 women live with, more than 170 million worldwide. Then, in May 2026, after years of research, it was officially renamed Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome, PMOS. And the name wasn't changed lightly. It was changed because the old one had been quietly pointing everyone, doctors included, at the wrong organ for 90 years. The real problem was never really in the ovaries. To see where it actually lives, you have to start with a scan that fooled medicine for decades. In 1935, 2 doctors looked at the ovaries of women who weren't having regular periods. And they saw them. Dozens of little dark circles around the edge, like a string of pearls. Cysts, they thought. So they named the whole condition after the cysts. The name stuck for 90 years. There was just one problem. They weren't cysts. Each little circle was a follicle, a tiny sac that's meant to grow an egg, release it, and disappear. Except here, they grew part way, and then froze. Dozens of eggs, lined up, ready, and stuck. The ovary wasn't full of disease, it was full of unfinished work. So if the ovary is just following orders, who's giving them? Meet the hormone you didn't expect. Insulin. You know it as the one that controls your blood sugar. After a meal, insulin tells your cells to open up and take the sugar in. Simple. But in many women with this condition, the cells stop listening. They go a little deaf to insulin. Doctors call it insulin resistance. So the body does the obvious thing. It shouts louder. It pumps out more and more insulin to get the same job done. And now you have a bloodstream full of insulin, looking for something to do. And insulin, it turns out, has a side job nobody asked it to take. Sitting in the ovary are cells called theca cells. Their job is to make a small, normal amount of male hormones, androgens, like testosterone. Every woman makes a little. That's healthy. But theca cells have a button on them that insulin can press, and all that extra insulin leans on the button. Hard. The theca cells crank testosterone production up. Then insulin does something even sneakier. Your liver makes a protein called SHBG, whose entire job is to grab loose testosterone and lock it away. Insulin tells the liver to make less of it. So now there's more testosterone being made and less being locked up. That's why a condition people think of as an ovary problem shows up as acne, as hair growing where women don't want it and thinning where they do. A hormone that's supposed to manage your lunch ends up rewriting your skin. Insulin really should have stayed in its lane, and here is the trap. That extra testosterone is exactly what freezes the follicles. The eggs grow part way and stall. No egg is released, no regular period. That's why, for so many women, the very first sign is a cycle that just doesn't show up on time. For years. It also makes this the single most common cause of infertility from not ovulating. Not because the eggs are gone. They're right there on the scan, waiting. They're just never given the signal to go. Now, the advice these women hear for years is 2 words. Lose weight. And weight loss genuinely does help. It makes the cells listen to insulin again, which quiets the whole cycle. But sit with the cruelty of it. High insulin tells the body to store fat and makes it harder to burn. So the condition that's driven by insulin actively fights the one thing you're told will fix it. Telling someone with this to just lose weight is like telling them to bail out a boat while the hormone in charge keeps drilling holes in the bottom. It can be done. It is not as simple as it sounds. And for a long time, doctors didn't fully see that, because the name kept pointing them at the ovaries. Which is the part that actually matters for your health. This was never just about periods or fertility. That same insulin resistance quietly raises the risk of type 2 diabetes, of heart disease, of a fatty liver, of sleep apnea. The ovaries are just the part you can see on a scan. The condition is the whole engine room. So, 90 years after those 2 doctors saw cysts, the world's experts finally changed the name. As of May 2026, it is no longer polycystic ovary syndrome. The new name is Polyendocrine Metabolic Ovarian Syndrome. And read it slowly, because it is basically this whole video in 3 words. Polyendocrine, many hormones, not one organ. Metabolic, insulin, sugar, the whole body. Ovarian, Yes, the ovaries are involved, listed last, where they belong. They didn't just rename a disease, they finally pointed the name at the right place. So if your periods have a mind of their own, if your skin or your weight won't behave no matter what you do, this is worth a real conversation with a doctor. And the words that change that conversation are insulin resistance, not just my ovaries. The treatments that target the engine, managing insulin with lifestyle, with metformin, sometimes with newer options, tend to calm everything downstream. 170 million women. 90 years. One wrong name. It's strange how a name can tell one story, while the body has been telling another the whole time.